All right, and I'm back to recording these live. This is MA Marignon, turn 25. Let's take a look. And yeah, we had some battles. All right, don't actually remember. Okay, yeah, this is the raid. Our paladin and the knights. Oh boy, against a pretty substantial PD dump. Maybe should have expected this because there is a temple here. But yeah, I didn't know the PD type. I don't think. I'm pretty sure this isn't a province that I've raided before. But I did, I'm raiding fairly heavy with the knights. We have like, what, 8 or 9 here, I think. So I think we're still going to be okay. Yeah, and just kind of demonstrates that, like, PD dumps, really, they need to be supported. It depends on what you're up against, raider-wise, but yeah, these knights, they were designed to expand well and, kill other sacreds, so PD dump, even against kind of a scarier PD type, like cavalry, is not great, so yeah, we didn't actually lose any knights, so yeah, that works out, and we knocked down a temple, which is, really nice and hurts, and then this is probably going to be Micklin moving forward, with that, big old, this is their, everything. So it was the Eagle squad that I didn't really know about. It looks like he brought out, a bunch of casters from his capital. Nice. And of course we retreated. So, because, we were next to the capital. We saw the the stack of Jaguar warriors, which we knew about. We were planning on jumping on. I think we could have taken that. We probably could have taken, I don't know, hard to say, these giant monster toads or whatever, right, with their poison cloud, that's gonna suck, because I'm pretty sure we don't have poison resistance on the bless. Let's double check that. I can't actually remember. Maybe we do. But the Eagle warriors, with this bless, like, they're kind of glass cannony, and this bless is really more survivability. Now the fact that they get to jump in, right, and mess with our archers, definitely will be annoying, because these guys in melee, the Jaguar warriors, they're gonna be kind of nasty. He's got a few archers, probably inconsequential, and then it looks like this is going to be focused on thunder striking. So it looks like these turkeys are going into, oops, that's not a turkey. So he's using the turkeys as communion slaves, and he's using these high priests of the sky probably as the masters. So it's a thunderstrike communion, which, like, no shock resistance on this bless. That said, there's probably room. I don't know, hard to say. He's got good coverage. So we might not be able to get our knights on, like, an attack rear. He doesn't actually have any units back here, like, defending these mages. So if we were to get some knights back there, we'd lose some to thunder strikes, definitely, especially once they get close range. But these are dudes in robes, or actually I don't even think. No, they have robes. So we might be able to cheese that with an attack rear. The other thing too is that, like, at really long range, if we back position, we should be able to kill the eagles first, because they're gonna jump in quickly, and then these toads are pretty slow. And Thunderstrike is not an accurate spell, so, like, we're gonna lose some guys to Thunderstrike, but it's not that many Thunderstrikes. What is this guy doing? Probably also Thunderstrike. Undetermined. And then, of course, he also has the Quaddle. Oops, that's a turkey. And not really sure what that's going to be doing. He's big nature. He has a lot of nature gems, so possibly Howl? Probably not. He certainly could have Conjuration 5. I might expect air elementals, though, if he had Conjuration 5. Anyway, this is definitely a scary enough army. We need to think about this. Even if we did win, we'd lose a lot, which is not ideal, especially since we're in a 2v1. So definitely glad that I retreated. I am sad. It looks like Bandar chose not to attack. I was really hoping to catch that other Bandar force unexpectedly, but for whatever reason, I don't know why he'd be massing. It's like, now he can cross. Maybe he doesn't realize he can cross. I don't know. Maybe he anticipated. This is nice. I think these are both, Earth sites. This is with an Earth 1. It's just, So it kind of hurts to be using the Grandmaster just to search Earth 1. But, it needs to be done when you're in this situation. Let's see. Found some gold. That's nice with Misfortune. And our scout was finally caught just by the province defense on Ashdod. Probably shouldn't have left him there so long. Then we had some patrolling. So I'll see you guys after the jump. All right, this is the situation, and what we're planning on doing. Our orders. We can see that Arcocephali is probably about to be out, which could be really relevant for us here shortly. I have not contacted the Ubar player yet. I should definitely jump on that. Probably a nap would be good. It is sad that I wasn't able to pick up anything of Arcocephali's territory, but on the other hand, Ubar will hopefully be... They won't be annoyed, right? Like if I had vultured some territory, that they're more likely to be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to attack Marignon. Whereas, we're totally neutral right now. But we're pretty busy, so yeah, that could be a problem. In terms of the war, it's neutral, right? Like we're kind of back where we started, almost exactly. We have one extra province, which is a good thing. I mean, considering that it's 2v1, so it could be going worse. But the fact that other wars are starting to finish out. The other thing too is Eriu is sieging another capital, Uruk. Obviously, I know this player is quite good. This is the second player that they're knocking out. We have a nap with them. I don't think they want to tangle, but I mean, at some point, if we don't execute on our war, they'll definitely jump in against us. And Abyssia, I'm not sure. They have their Bronze Colossus down here. It looks like Pangea is still alive. Anyway, there's a lot of other wars finishing out, and we're not even really close. So, what are we doing? We're just sitting still, because that's a good plan when you're behind. I don't really want to attack into this, right? This is enough stuff. We're kind of low in terms of front line, right? We don't actually have a ton of knights here, which is not great. We have a lot of crossbows, which is good. It's going to help. We've seen how they've been good. But yeah, I would prefer to use our own PD, to fight this. It's possible these guys are planning on attacking at the same time. Probably not, because then they would have to fight each other. Assuming one of them won, and we would have to fight them in sequence. So yeah, I'm really not sure what Bandar's plan is. The problem, so if we can take a fight here with our PD, that's gonna be great. If we can take 2 fights here with our PD, that's even better. I've got enough gems on one of the Flaming Arrows casters to cast twice, so we should be good if we do end up having to fight 2 battles. I'm not expecting that. It seems like Bandar's probably just gonna sit still. And if I were Mictlan, I would probably attack through to this province. Okay, and that's the advantage of talking through plans. When I was talking through it, I was like, you know what? This is not a good plan. I'm going to change it. It's not too different than what I was planning. We're just not going to sit still for a turn. So this army is probably going to go here. We could try to anticipate it and destroy it, but it would be an ugly fight. And we're about to hit some critical research, right? Alteration 5 is 1 level away, or 1 turn away. And that's going to help us a lot in terms of our knights stacking up in melee, because we have Spirit Sight and our enemy does not. So I would prefer to wait to take an army engagement. Now, that said, I don't want to just sit back and play defense completely, right? So I want to use this army offensively. So the plan was to sit still, let them move in. We're going to let them move into our territory. We have our reinforcements moving up. We have quite a bit of reinforcements. We're bringing more stuff in. We're going to build a second army that's hopefully going to be able to beat this. We'll see. I think so. I think we'll be able to maul it so badly that we have enough production centers. Even if we lose the first fight, we will be able to take it down. He's not going to be able to conquer me with this army alone, even without the help of our main army. Our main army is going to go after Bandar, which I know I said I wanted to focus on Mictlan, and I still do, but I really don't want to have 2 armies rampaging around, right? The second army should be able to beat, Mictlan's army, but I don't know if it's going to be able to handle, both of these simultaneously, and we're going to be losing a lot of territory, so we're just going to preemptively destroy this. This does mean that potentially we're going to have no retreat routes, and at best we're going to have 1 province to retreat to, which is kind of why I wanted to wait, but that situation's not really going to improve. So yeah, and I mean, I have a high confidence. We've beaten something like this before. Honestly, I think there was probably more Tiger Riders in the last army. We don't know for sure, but I mean, militias, heavy cavalry. We just saw our knights do fine against that. We have a bunch of flaming arrows. So anyway, I'm not too worried about retreats here. So we're going to wipe this out and make sure it can't mess with us. And then we're going to head north, right? We're going to take this, and then we're going to go sit on top of Mictlan's capital. And then our raiders are going to make the safe raid, but they're basically going to on the same timetable, and I have pretty high confidence. I don't know, we'll see. These Eagle Warriors, they don't really have much of a bless to help them, and they don't have a lot of strength, so I think they're going to struggle with our Knights' heavy armor. We will probably be somewhat outnumbered by the time we make it over there, because the plan is just raid through and then sit on top of this fort. So it might not work, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And if we do that, that's all of Miquelin's production centers, right? So we'll have an army sat on top of his capital, and we'll have an army sat on top of, we'll have a raiding force sat on top of his other fort. And hopefully, in 3 turns' time, he may not see that coming, especially since we're attacking out against Bandar, right? Like, his response might be, to attack into our territory. Now, this is assuming that he's going to be aggressive. He could re-raid with his doom stack. We'll have to adjust. We have other forces coming up, right? So if that's the case, then we'll probably wait for our reinforcements to join up with our main army, and then we take a fight on top of his capital against everything, but we'll have solar eclipse, the partial darkness to help us out, and we'll have our reinforcements. We may even bring our other, our raiding group back in, and yeah, I think in that case, it'll probably go well. I don't know. We'll see. Let's take a look. Nope. Oh yeah, no, we do have poison resistance. Excellent. Yeah, don't even remember what's on the bless. But yeah, so that's going to help a lot against the toads. Obviously, if they get in against our crossbowmen, that's going to be a big problem. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of discussion, about what the plan is for the war. Like, we'll see how it goes, subject to change. Still haven't heard back from Ashdod, which is a little concerning, but he does seem to be busy, right? He just has these knights. Like, these 2 provinces have been independent for a while. I don't know what he's busy with. But the fact that he's now recapturing these, not that we would ever do that, but I mean, we're kind of busy. Not sure these halberdiers, we're bringing some more in. So, there's, I think it's just earth gnomes. I forget. I'll have to go take a look. Maybe we should attack that this turn. I might make that change. But the earth elemental is a little freaky against 14 halberdiers. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait till I have a few more. So we're going to recapture this, but yeah, hopefully Ashdod is busy. Our other neighbors, we talked about, we need to get moving. So that's another reason to not sit still. And it was pretty much the plan anyway. We're just going to accelerate it by a turn. And a little risky. Still don't know where the pretender is. But, we have a lot of garbage now. And we're starting, here's, another piece of garbage. And, we're starting to build up a decent amount of other random commanders for our second stack. We'll probably need a few more. So yeah, I think that covers turn 25. All right, MA Marignon, turn 26. Hopefully some battles. Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff. Real rainbow going on over here. So let's see. This has got to be the raid. So our paladin and knights moving on. Yeah, this is not enough PD to stop us, but we'll still watch. Because, you gotta make sure, you can see, this is where the friar, right? This would be real scary with the friar, but with the paladin, I don't care about those short bows. So definitely something to consider for your raiding groups. That works out no problem. Yep, no losses. Like to see that. Okay, this is good news. So it looks like Phlegra is fighting with Ashdod, unless there's been some sort of diplomatic settlement, which probably, this looks familiar. If you've seen my Macone playthrough, this is a Peltas raiding group, looks to be, or I guess they're Helid warriors in this age, but they have an axe instead of a spear, so they are different, but pretty much these are Peltasts. They have the javelin, and they raid real nice. They might struggle a little, with the giant commander, I was thinking, but yeah, of course they get the HP route before he's even relevant, and yeah, that looks like some pretty competent Helid raiding, so that's kind of cool to see, someone else doing that. I'm sure that's very standard. I certainly did not invent Helid raiding. And yeah, like I said, this is good news. This means Ashdod is at least going to be somewhat busy for the immediate future, because they haven't actually gotten back to me at all. So yeah, we do not have a non-aggression pact with them. Maybe at some point, depending on how the conflict goes, vulture a few provinces, but obviously we have other problems. And then, yeah, this looks like an assault on Uruk. So yeah, obviously... Oh no, this is Uruk riding out, and looks like Aryu actually bailed off the capital. So this is a good sign, and this is, yeah, construction 2-ish looking. So some early kitting, but some good kitting, I would say. Like, there's nothing wrong with that kit for this early. And he's brought out a ton of mages. They're doing protection and mind burn. Like, yeah, lots of early spell stuff that makes sense and is good. So yeah, this looks like a competent last stand defense, and the fact that Aryu pulled off is a good sign, right? Like, we don't want Aryu to easily eat Uruk. The longer the Uruk can keep them busy, the better for us. And then we are attacked by Mikland. Okay, so it looks like he's choosing to just kind of follow in our raider's wake. And we didn't really leave any PD. And this looks like pretty much most of his Jaguar warriors, all of his Jaguar warriors, a good amount. A couple turkeys who... Communion slave. Okay, so they're going to be supporting this guy, Priest King. Communion Master... Doesn't need that for blessing, I don't think. Thunderstrike. Okay, so, just a little Thunderstrike communion. Which, yeah, I mean, that would definitely mess up our raiding group. Obviously, we have no shock resistance on the bless. So that's possibly coming up right away. But yeah, that's kind of fine that he's just going to go raid around. But it looks like he did not choose to move in. So the whole plan about drawing him in, and then destroying his army with our secondary force, looks like it's probably not going to be a thing. And then of course we're moving out, so this is our main army hitting Bandar's stack, which has hopefully stayed put for us. Holy moly. Yeah, so this is actually dangerous here. This is a lot of PD. And of course this is the downside of attacking. So we'll see how this goes. This is starting to look a little scary, right? There's a lot of Tiger Riders. I do not think we're going to win this without casualties. But, like, our knights are pretty good. And flaming arrows on crossbows is pretty powerful, but, yeah, this is going to be rough. I was not expecting this much PD here, which, in retrospect, maybe should have been. Like, I mean, this is an obvious attack, right? This is the only access between Bandar and I. But it's sort of like, I don't know, you're in a 2v1, and you're the 2, and you're dropping, like, a bunch of PD in your own territory? Okay. It is helping him here, definitely. So it's just, usually I would expect you're going to be the aggressor, right? Why join a 2v1 and then set up for defense? This is a lot of gold, and I don't think it's doing too much for him. It's not really, I mean, I don't think Bandar has any fire access, so it's not like he could have done flaming arrows, but flaming arrows is actually a pretty easy way, a pretty good way to buff up a lot of different PD types. So little flaming arrows for him would have been nice, but you are limited. So we lose 12 crossbowmen. That's not fantastic. 3 knights. It's always sad when knights die. But like, he loses. He still has some Tiger Riders, and like all of his casters get away. That's the other thing. He doesn't really, no mage support whatsoever. It's still fairly early, but, we've definitely hit a point. I mean, Flaming Arrows is doing a lot of work for me. This is, maybe too many mages, but some of this is redundancy, right, for the assassination. So, anyway, yeah, this goes really well for us, and still continues to highlight that unsupported, well, I mean, that was supported PD. But yeah, PD is not great. I feel like I probably PD dump a little too much. So yeah, Pangea against Independence. Oh yeah, this is a Throne of Gaia thing. And if I recall, these White Centaur are fairly heavily blessed. So yep, no problem with that. But then he runs into Abyssia. And so this is the same province, same White Centaur. Ooh, Abyssia's Pretender. Very cool. Yeah, I think these White Centaur are probably screwed. They're pretty good, but, Bronze Colossus is pretty nasty, and, he's got at least some spell casting. They do go through the Abyssian infantry without any trouble, but of course, what is this? Fist of Iron? Yeah, Fist of Iron. Great point-blank spell. You don't see it a ton, except with, these inanimate pretenders. Anybody that can just have a bunch of people surrounding him at distant 1 and survive. Now he's going into Flying Shards, which I guess, yeah, I don't know why he would do that. There you go, Fist Iron. So he figures it out eventually. It's with these inanimate pretenders is always a little dangerous in terms of the battle timing out, but I don't think there's any risk there. So yeah, I mean, he loses the supporting stuff, but this is all really cheap, and he takes out a White Centaur like raiding group. So that's good. That's a good use of a pretender, I would say. And then it looks like I have not been in contact with Xibalba. I did talk with them a little bit a while back about assisting versus Mictlan, and they showed some interest, and it looks like Falegra, they were worried about Falegra attacking them, but now it looks like Falegra's going after Ashdod. So yeah, this is just some horde of skeletons. These Kamazots, people really like these mages. I don't have enough experience with Xibalba to say. Death 2 is always nice. I think they're pretty cheap too, which is nice. And they fly, so that's Death 2 on a flying. Aren't they stealthy too? Yeah, they're stealthy. They got a lot of cool stuff, definitely. Cool mages. Of course, yeah, this is, one of them got picked off, right, by arrows. Not sure about standing them all in the same square, right? If you could, some one square buffs, that would be a reason to stack them all together, but otherwise I would say spread them out from the arrow fire. But anyway, yeah, they have the same problem, right, that like a friar would have, is that, all it takes is, there's a lot of arrows in PD, so it's going to be pretty common. So they do take that, and they kill a turkey who's probably just sight searching, I gotta believe. Possibly this was an expected attack. These guys might have been fighting each other. Yeah, this turkey actually has some blood slaves with them, so I guess maybe blood hunting, right? Yeah, this turkey does have blood. So possibly this is, I don't know, it seems way too small to be a blood hunting operation. Personal regeneration, resist magic. Just kind of curious what he's doing here. Gift to the hair, starfires. Yeah, I'm not sure why he has these blood slaves. Maybe it is some blood hunting, but probably just a sight searcher. It is sad to lose, a mage to like pretty minimal PD, but that's, like I said, I think these guys are pretty. Yeah, they're not that cheap, but they're not expensive. But yeah, so it looks like we are getting some help here. I'll definitely have to reach out to Xibalba. Maybe do a trade, like if, I don't know, we'll see. I'll have to think about it in terms of like what capital to get, but I'm not hearing back from Bandar, so it's kind of looking like gonna need to wipe Bandar out. Although it does look like Yis, their conflict with Relay is pretty much over based off of some game chat. I ended up not reaching out to Relay because they just look real busy, and the underwater conflict got a bit salty, but it does look like Relay is close to, if not out. In fact, okay, now Ermor was vanquished and Kalen was vanquished, so Relay is still in it for now, but so Yis might be coming in on Bandar soon, but I'm not thrilled about that. So yeah, maybe take Bandar log since we're not hearing back from that player. It looks like we're gonna have to knock him out, and so we can take that capital, and then maybe Xibalba can take Mictlan's capital, because it would be nice to have a secure border. A little concerned about Ubar right now, right? Because Ubar has finished off Arcocephali, is about to finish off Arcocephali, so it's like their armies are going to be right on our border, very close to our capital. Most of our forces are deployed, fighting a war that's far away. And yeah, I should have already reached out. There's a theme here to my diplomacy, a little late. Yeah, I need to talk to that player. I guess Naba, excuse me. Still getting used to the early age to middle age shift. But anyway, I'm concerned about them. And if we swing down against Bandar, that'll kind of set us up. Because Arcocephali would be a better capital for us to take in terms of just shape of territory. So it really kind of just depends. Some thoughts on diplomacy. But yeah, let's take a look. So Ashdod is clearing out. I think these are just some knights. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised this didn't happen earlier. He must be fairly busy. Obviously he was eating Nazca. That takes a little bit. And then I don't know how long this Flegra conflict has been going on, but But yeah, I mean, you know, not much can stand up to Anakites and Knights. Not one of those things. So yeah, Fertility Festival, that's cool. More Throne of Gaia, that's unfortunate. That's not good either. We're probably going to lose this. Do we have a site searcher here? Hopefully not. We sure do. Are you set to retreat? Uh-oh. No, he is not. Oh boy, this is not good. Yes, you want to set your site searchers to retreat or give him gems or something. He doesn't really have a whole lot to be casting. Thank heavens. Wolf Tribe is good. So hooray, Wolf Tribe. 6 PD, you know, sometimes it saves your Grandmaster's life. And then, yeah, we talked about this. So I'll see you guys after the cut. All right, and this is the situation and what we have planned. I have completely discarded my plan from before, and I think we're just going to walk at Bandar Log now. From last turn, like, we know that there aren't really any troops on top of his capital. He does have a big old pile of Astral Mages, which is not great. I am pretty concerned about Soul Slay. Yeah, Soul Slay is not great at taking out numbers, and we do have a lot of stuff, so hopefully some of the Soul Slays will target, our crossbowmen, most likely. I'm not actually sure, because the Knights have more hit points, and their magic resistance is not much better. So yeah, if he was to Soul Slay the Knights, that would suck. The crossbowmen are probably enough to carry it, even if all the Knights get Soul Slayed, but yeah, it's not great. But, you know, flaming arrows, it'll shoot up, little Bandar casters just fine. It's a little less effective inside the fort, but I'm thinking we're probably just going to sit on the fort for now. Yeah, I just think that since Micklin didn't commit with his other force, this is not going to be enough to take out like all of his mages and his sacreds in some sort of a cap defense situation. Now, we do have stuff coming up that we can combine with, but it's kind of like, well, like, we know Bandar, we just wiped out their armies, and I think they're going to be the easier one to take out. And again, since we haven't been getting any, diplomacy back from them, it looks like we're probably going to have to take out both, combined with the fact that, like, Xibalba is definitely coming in on Micklin, right? So Micklin now has something else to worry about. Now, I mean, a few Camazot raiders shouldn't tie up, his whole sacred force. So, like, he could still counter-raid and move out against me. But, I mean, where is he going to go? Like, the flip of... Our infrastructure being so far away is a bit of a double-edged sword. Obviously, like, it's taking us, we're bringing forward reinforcements. Like, here's, the latest group of reinforcements. Then we've got this group of reinforcements. We're bringing one caster back for flaming arrows, bringing another guy out for more flaming arrows. Definitely losing a lot of research to all this. Anyway, so it takes us forever to get over here. On the other hand, like, it's very difficult for him to defeat us, right? Because it's like, okay, like, he can raid in and take territory, but it's not really going to hurt, like, my troop production capacity at all, right? So, he'd have to move a long way to actually take a fort. And now with Xibalba kind of breathing down his neck, like, is he really going to commit to moving, like, his whole? I mean, he'd need to bring everything. I just don't think so. I just don't think he's going to commit on coming deep. So yeah, right, which means that, well, then it's a cap defense situation. And, I mean, he's got his pretender. It would be ugly. It'd be an ugly fight. I think it's going to be easier to take out Bandar. So, that's what we're going to go for. Yeah, it does leave this army, like, a bit exposed, but I'm not too worried about what Bandar's doing, and I think we'll be able to cover it, right, with our forces coming forward. We are a little light. We're not recruiting anymore this turn because we're going to build a palisade here on top of the throne. Yeah, I don't think that fort needs any explanation, but the timing of it, I mean, putting up more infrastructure in the middle of a war We're actually not recruiting some mages this turn as well, so we're missing a witch hunter here, and we could be getting another witch hunter here. So the reason we are losing out for that is partially due to the palisade construction, but then also trying to spring for some mercenaries. So I think this guy is just boars, but boars actually raid pretty well, so that'll be fine if we get them. And then the far strikers, they're just archers. They don't raid so hot, but they're available. So yeah, overbidding, not by a ton on either of these groups, might not get them, although I think, early game, it's very difficult to get, not very difficult, but mercenaries are in more contention, right, because they're very useful for expansion. And then I think a lot of people, myself included, kind of forget about mercenaries, because they're not, they're not going to help in like a doom stack in a big fight generally. They'll help, but they're not going to win the day generally, so they're less important, but they are perfectly serviceable raiders, and you can recruit them anywhere, right? In your own territory, right? So it's very difficult for us to get raiding groups out here. So yeah, we're going to try to use the mercenaries to, start going after some more of these like lightly defended provinces, because right now we're not really capturing, right? We have the upper hand in terms of winning the fights, but we're not really getting anything for it, right? We're not taking a lot of provinces, so we need to increase the pace at which we're taking provinces. Unfortunately, speaking of taking provinces and raiders, these raiders are a little bit trapped. So yeah, it definitely crossed my mind that he would follow up, but I just wasn't expecting as much follow up. So yeah, trying to outfox here. I could be outplaying myself, right? The obvious move is for me to take this province, which is what I was planning on doing. So I'm thinking this is enough of his sacreds that I think we would lose this engagement. So I'm guessing he's going to try to intercept me, and then we're just going to sneak in behind him. Or he's just trying to recapture provinces, and, I've outthought myself, and I'm going to lose these knights as we bump into these Jaguar warriors. So we'll see. This rating is not going so hot. There's a pretty high chance that we lose these knights, 50-50, I'd say, which is not ideal. But, it is what it is. So that's our very limited rating and our attacks. And then, yeah, like I said, no recruitment. And research-wise, just trying to finish off Conjuration 3, mostly for the powers. We do get baby elementals as well, which is fine. And then Thaumaturgy 5 for the Soul Slay. This is maybe less important now that Ashdod looks like they're probably going to be busy. But we do want it for Miklin's Pretender, and it's just a good thing to have as an Astral Nation in your back pocket, especially with Marignon that doesn't really have a lot of thugs and can kind of struggle to deal with like super combatants, right? We don't have Earth for Great Swords of Sharpness, and anyway, yeah. Soul Slay is going to be really useful for us, so probably we'll stick to that. And then Construction 2 gets like fire in a bottle, right? The temporary fire gems, which is nice. And we may just run all the way up to Construction 6 because we're going to want that both for the boosters we need to get Eternal Pyre, right? And all of our alchemy nonsense that we're planning on doing with all of our fire gems. And then, of course, one of the outputs of fire gems is Lightless Lanterns, but you can't make those until you get Construction 6. And I think we'll be fairly well defended. Probably the only other thing to consider is to go Conjuration 5 for fire elementals, another good sync for fire gems. But I think between our alteration, right, so we have Solar Eclipse now, so that's going to help a lot when we have a lot of Sacreds and army fights. We have Flaming Arrows, we've been seeing that do work, and that's still going to be viable for the next like 10 turns, maybe 20 turns, really depends on who you go up against. It's going to start to fall off, but it'll still defend us for a bit. And then if we get Soul Slay as well, I think we'll be pretty well rounded, so we'll be pretty safe. So at that point, going for Construction 6, I feel okay with that. We do want to get some evocation research in. There's always more research to be doing, but yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. So yeah, brief overview of scouting. It looks like, I thought this was cracked. My mistake. So yeah, no storm for Arco Cephali, which is good news, right? The longer Arco can hold out, the better. Do plan on contacting the Nabob player probably this turn, but Pythium is cracked, so yeah, hopefully get to see a storm there. That'll be interesting. And then of course, we saw the result of the not sure where Ariu went, so we're just going to move our scout off. Hopefully won't get patrolled out because we do want to see those battles. And then, yeah, just have a scout cruising around in Phlegra. A little curious about these independent flags, so I'm going to see if this is actually a throne or, that hasn't been claimed or what the deal is there. So yeah, that covers turn 26. All right, MA Marignon, turn 27. Tempted to say this should be a quiet turn. A little bit afraid to. So yeah, all right, we finished some research. This is good. Found a magic site, even better. I'll have to double check. This might be fire and nature. And then we had some misses. That's okay. All right, and then we're trying to take back a province. I think this is just earth gnomes. Yeah, real tiny. We must have been badly damaged, this earth elemental, in the last fight. So we should be okay. We're in a cave. These halberdiers aren't going to do great in a cave. The earth gnomes do regenerate, but yeah, they don't have a big enough health pool for it to really make too much of a difference. And we don't lose anybody, so that's nice, because we might need these halberdiers. And then there's a battle in Arcocephali, so this is important. It looks like Arcocephali is riding out. Okay, maybe not so important. Boy, I hope they have more than this. But yeah, this is our first time seeing Ubar or Nabah. I'll get that right eventually. So yeah, here's their sacreds. What kind of bless did he take? Looking kind of magey. The blood surge will help, as actual troop sacreds, but the reinvigoration and the combat farcaster is more for his mages, who I'm not super familiar with. Okay, yeah, so they are sacred. Well, this is a prophet, so that's not. This guy's also sacred, though, right? Yeah, must be. He's not a priest. Dang, it's a lot of paths. So yeah, it makes sense. Ideally, you don't take a mage bless if you do not have sacred mages, but that's not the end of the world, although shock damage is definitely something that Nabah can do plenty of, and of course, Farcaster, it doesn't really matter. Lightning Bolt and Thunderstrike have a really long range already, so it doesn't make it worse. I am a little bit concerned, our lack of shock resistance might convince Nabah that we're a good target. He might be right. There wasn't any fire resistance on that blow. They just have it built in. That's gross. But at least his regular troops, his sacreds have fire resist? Ugh. Okay, that's not great, because, fire is kind of our thing. They don't have dark vision, though. So yeah, we're gonna, solar eclipse them, and, what are their stats? They do have glamour. That's annoying. And, they have, high defense skill, but with the bonus in our attack, I think we'll be okay. Their attack skill is good, but not fantastic. So their protection's a lot lower than ours. They do have more hit points than our knights. But, our knights are recruit anywhere, right? So that is the other thing. We should be able to outnumber them significantly. But yeah, I'm not really sure what Arcocephali was planning there. With the glamour, it can be really hard to tell, right, if Nabah actually left a real army there or not. So possibly, Arco thought he's moved off, or, is just checking to see if he moved off. This is maybe a little too much to commit. I don't know how much he has left. Maybe he has plenty of those guys, but yeah, an unsuccessful breakout, definitely. And then, yeah, we have some battles. This might be where our raiders get caught. Oh, yeah. Dang it. So, yeah, I maybe outthought myself. Maybe he didn't move. Maybe we just got unlucky with the movement. There is, some randomness built in. Yeah, there's the Thunderstrike, speaking of. So yeah, we're going to have no problem with these skeletons. Not sure where they came from. Maybe you just summoned them or moved them in. But yeah, this is way too many Jaguar Warriors, so we're going to go down pretty hard here. I don't know, we might get some kills, but the Bloodmon is going to help them a lot there. Because while we did a good amount of damage and probably caused a lot of afflictions, okay, yeah, we got 5. That's respectable, considering how badly outnumbered we were. Sad to lose a group like that. That is a lot of gold. Maybe should have used a smaller raiding group. On the other hand, we did run into a lot of PD. Yeah, it happens. So yeah, but maybe should have used a smaller raiding group. And then yeah, this is just our main army. Not really expecting any resistance here. Yeah, it just looks like 1 PD, and so no problem there. Don't need to watch that. And then a battle in Pangea. This looks like an assault from Abyssia. Or no, he didn't have it under siege. My mistake. So yeah, this looks like just very low province defense, using some salamanders from Abysia. That's cool. I don't love them. They die really easily, but they do a lot of damage, and these are just Abyssian infantries, not his sacreds, and then of course his god. So yeah, there's no question about how this is gonna go. Looks like PNG is in trouble. Yeah, see those salamanders, they die to everything, but you know, they do deal, they're quite damaging, so they have a place. But yeah, it looks like PNG is in trouble. That was not the largest army ever from Abysia. And then third time is going to be the charm, right? This is an assault. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, this is looking pretty competent from man, which is, you know, always sad. You want your opponents to not know what they're doing. Not a lot of mage support. In fact, no mage support whatsoever. No priest. Oh no, he's got a prophet here, because he does have some of his sacreds. Although with man, I mean, the sacreds kind of take a backseat sometimes to these knights of Avalon, who are not sacred, but kind of act in a similar role. They're cap only, and they're pretty effective. But yeah, he's got the cavalry in a box, probably on attack rear here. Yeah, because they didn't go for the wall defenders. Very nice. And yeah, you know, Pythium, he's got dudes in robes and, you know, not enough infantry to cover him. I mean, there's a reason that he's in his cap. And getting assaulted. So let's take a look at the bless here. Missile range plus 30%. Okay. I think, man, they can do some meme kind of stuff with like bow of war. It's an item that you can forge, and they have really cheap sacred commanders, monks that they can like foreign recruit, so they can kind of just pop them out. And I'm assuming that's what this is for. So yeah, you know, I respect that. Like someday I might mess around with that. Man is a nation that I like, so I'm assuming that's what that's for. Because yeah, their sacred does not. This is their sacred right here. No ranged weapon, and they do have sacred mages, but they don't have ranged weapons. So yeah. Anyway, a bit of an odd pick, but like I said, I'm assuming it's for those monks and the items. Shock resistance, nice. Cold resistance, cool. Penetration bonus, that's a bit interesting. I think man does get. I don't think they actually get much astral. There are some nature spells that will benefit from that. Anyway, yeah, maybe on that. Undying, probably just wanted death, and a pretty standard pick. HP plus 6, that's a bit unusual. Inspirational and leadership. Yeah, I don't know. This bless it's all over the place, definitely. I don't fully understand it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but yeah, it's a little non-standard. But I mean, you know, he's taking a capital, so clearly it can't be doing that badly for him, and I don't think those slingers are going to come away with it. Yeah, no losses. So, you know, other people's wars are winding down, right? This is like 3 capitals this turn that we, you know, saw battles on top of, or in one case, it got taken, and like, yep, there you go, Pythium is out. So while it's all well and good that we're pushing back the 2v1, you know, we're still behind, right? We're not really anywhere close to eliminating our opponents yet. And then it looks like this is just more thrown at Gaia, not even our misfortune. Probably going to lose that province. Yeah, just 1 PD is not going to stop Earth Elementals. And yeah, a fertility festival, that's always nice. Let's see, this is not good. We might get attacked here. Probably should pay a little more attention to these ones. So we're losing some province income, that's fine. But yeah, we might have to worry about Vineman here in the Forgotten Woods. No, a cult of Gaia has gained a foothold. The cults are usually not good. I don't think Gaia is not as bad. Horror cults you want to try to stamp out immediately. Personal experience with that. So I'm not as familiar with the cult of Gaia, but yeah, when we get a minute, Grey Forest we'll have to pay attention to. And right, this is our losing our province. We lost a scout to a disease. We're getting some starvation. This is another sad thing about, you know, I've never really been through these provinces. We might have had a scout here at some point, but I clearly didn't pay attention to, you know, how many supplies were in this province. So yeah, we're kind of moving through like unknown territory on our way to Bandar's capital. And yeah, this happens a lot. Like if you're not familiar with the ground and you have a large army, it's pretty easy to run into starvation problems. We don't have any nature going right now, which is very sad, and that's something that, you know, could help with this, but yeah. And then Solaria was also knocked out, which is probably just a good thing for everyone at large. So yeah, I'll catch you guys after the jump. All right, so this is the situation and what we're doing about it. The main thing is we are bravely running away. So, yeah, my scouting was kind of insufficient, but, when I saw this stack of 130 units, mainly Tiger Riders, my first thought was no. It's just, there's no way that I'm going to go into that. We might still be able to win, especially with the darkness. It's not full darkness, the solar eclipse on our side. So solar eclipse plus flaming arrows, but, he's at least going to have his capital PD. It probably hasn't been knocked down. I don't really get the sense that he's been in any other wars. And he has the opportunity to dump more money into his capital PD, which he very well might do. He's going to have access to, most of the mages that he's ever produced. And then, there's a huge stack of Tiger Riders that I didn't know about. My scouting over here is not fantastic. Actually, probably, I'm going to pull it back. I'm pulling the scout back as well as our army. So maybe we could go into this and win. We have no retreat routes, really. We have some starvation. Not a ton of starvation, right? Because we're not too far over the supply limit. But, some starvation is not good. And I am a little concerned. If we lost this army, it wouldn't be the end of the world in terms of our current conflict. But considering that Nabha, is about to be freed up and right on our border near our capital, I just feel that losing a large army that if he doesn't see, he'll probably hear about, would not be good. Would definitely incentivize him to come in and attack us. I'm going to pull back. The plan was never really to go after Bandar. It was really more a mistaken attack of opportunity. I thought there was opportunity. I thought we'd killed all the Tiger Riders, but I was wrong. So hopefully this will keep him at home for a little bit. He'll probably, chase us back. He'll have to sit in his capital at least one turn this turn. It's unlikely to seek an engagement with us, off of his capital. But he'll come in our wake. But that's okay. We do have some forces moving forward, right? So recruitment is turned back on. Everywhere that we can recruit, we are recruiting. Our fort moves forward. Be nice if we had another fort, say here, but we don't. Probably we'll have to turn off recruitment again at some point. May skip this fort for now, maybe forever, because it's going to be less important if we take Mictlan. And that's going to kind of refocus, right? Bandar, like I said, it was a little far away. So, Mictlan is the foe that makes more sense geographically. I think it's a bit of a toss-up. I think, the fights are going to be roughly equal, maybe a little harder against Mictlan. But, we're going to have access to a lot of our reinforcements, right? So we have a lot more knights and crossbowmen here, and then, we have even more knights and crossbowmen moving forward, along with some more mage support. We're just going to have a lot more that we're going to be able to throw at Mictlan, and it's going to be easier for us to cover. Maybe going after Bandar was just a mistake in general, especially since I knew they had another fort here, so we wouldn't have completely shut off production if we sat on their capital. It was clearly a mistake on my part, because now this is just wasted time moving back. But like I said, on the heels of that victory, it just seemed like, okay, we should be able to push over Bandar pretty easily. But no, this is looking way too dangerous for the situation. So we're going back to the original plan. Losing some time. Like I said, we're already a little bit behind in terms of our first war. But, it was a 2v1 and we're pushing on capitals. So that's a good thing. That's really the majority of it. Otherwise, kind of just site searching, moving reinforcements around. Nothing too new in the recruitment. We are switching more into knights now, so we're getting knights in 2 locations, reducing our crossbowmen recruitment. We're still getting halberdiers up here. I think will help us a bit. A decently high damaging weapon with some pierce, so they're going to be a little better against Anakites. Not much better, but they're a serviceable front line. No shield definitely hurts. Eventually we'll get Arrowfen to help with killing our own units with our crossbows, but until then, these guys are going to melt a little bit to our own fire, so we'll see about working them in, but we just kind of need something to, dissuade the giants from attacking us. Hopefully they're, pretty busy. Like I said, it looked like, them and Phlegra are at least doing a little bit of fighting, and we do see a fairly large force on their border with Phlegra. So probably we're, safe on that count, but it never hurts, to have a few units on your border. And I would say the only other thing of note is we didn't manage to hire either of those mercenary companies, which is very sad. They both went to Shiniyama, which is probably bad news for us, because they're probably looking to do the same thing, but against Tianqi. It's possible that Tianqi is pushing them back and they're desperate, and so that's why they're trying to recruit up troops. But this castle has been under siege by these Vinemen for a couple turns now. An Ivy King is definitely a bit of a hassle, but if things were going better, Tianqi would unlock his fort. So yeah, we really probably should get some more coverage down here to see how the war is progressing. But based on the fact that Shiniyama was pushing, and now they've recruited some mercenaries, probably things are going in their favor, coupled with the fact that Tianqi has one of their forts still locked down. But, it could be going either way. Regardless, we did not get the mercenaries, so we can't really do any raiding right now against Mictlan, and of course we lost our other raiding group that was working in Mictlan. We are, just going to throw in some assassins. I do not have high hopes for this, but we might be able to pick off a Turkey. But if they run into the Coatl, then we're gonna lose the assassins. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind reducing the upkeep a little bit anyway. Like, we can always recruit some more assassins later, if they're really going to be helpful for us. So we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. But like I said, the plan is now probably to recombine, with everything that we have, and then head at Mictlan's capital. It is feeling a little bit back and forth. I don't know. I haven't fought in too many 2v1s, so I'm a little bit unsure. But like I said, definitely taking this fight here feels wrong, and I do think that Mictlan, is the better target. So we're going to lose a little bit of time, but changing focus. So let's turn 27.